All right, guys, welcome to Onelife Podcast. My guest today is Vio. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
He was a bodybuilder for how long?
I've been a bodybuilder for 15 years.
Wow.
I started bodybuilding when I was 14 years old. I entered into the gym for the first time coming from college, and I was shocked by so many people like trying to improve their body and every day. And I got obsessed with bodybuilding, and very, very short after I entered the gym, I set a very, very high goal to become a professional bodybuilder at 14 years old.
Did you really? Who was your inspiration? Who were you? Was it Arnie? Was it
Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah. Because my father used to talk about Arnold when I was a child, and I had some like small postcards with Arnold on my doors, and I was like, I want to be like Arnold one day. I want to be a professional bodybuilder. And
how old are you now?
I'm 36 years old right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 43, so we're kind of similar age. Yeah, I looked at Arnie too, and he was a big inspiration.
Yeah, so it's like at 14 years old, trying to be a professional bodybuilder in my country, Romania, was something kind of like impossible. But
just like Arnie coming from Austria, right? Like
yes,
it was the same type of thing.
Yeah, from Europe. So I set up my mind and I chased that goal for over 15 years, and took me a lot of time and a lot of passion and a lot of pushing my limits a lot. And actually I moved from Romania to US to follow my dream to become a professional bodybuilder.
Like you're literally taking the Arnie road.
Yes.
So he was a big inspiration.
I was...
what age did you come over?
I came here when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
And I was not speaking English, and was a long road. I came here with a tourist visa. So was a long journey, but I had my mind set on this goal, and I was ready to do whatever it takes to reach this goal. So I was saying that if there is something like a pill or a drug that I can take to become a professional bodybuilder and I will die a year later, I was taking that road.
That's interesting.
That focus and passion, I was...
You're all in.
I was all in.
And honestly, like, so I studied personal training like years ago, and I was a personal trainer for 8 years. And my teacher at the time said that there was a study done on Olympic athletes. If they could take a pill, which would guarantee that they would win, but they would die 5 years later, would they take the pill?
Yes.
And it was like 9 out of 10 people would take that pill.
Yeah.
And you had that same mentality.
Exactly. Yeah.
All or nothing. And that's scary because, yeah, you may win, you may get down in history, but you're also dead.
Yeah, but the worst thing that scare me, and that's for me, is that not following my dream, like living a life without purpose. That's a lot scarier than dying trying to follow your dream, you know?
That's extreme though.
You get to a point in life where like, what I did in my life, did I follow my passion and my dream, or I was scared and I just stay scared and did nothing?
Do you think there's got to be a balance there though, right?
Now,
I'm
saying this. I'm saying this to make a contrast with where I am right now. So at 30 years old, I reached my goal and I became a professional bodybuilder.
In what were you professional at? Like what?
Classic Physique.
Okay.
IFBB Classic Physique professional. Really? Awesome. Yeah. And after that, I was like, now I'm here. What I do next? And I kind of got lost and for a few years. And now my whole focus is in longevity and staying as healthy as possible and feeling great, having a lot of energy, making money,
living long,
living
quality of life.
Is not like when I say longevity, people say, oh, you want to live 100 years old? And my answer is, no, I don't want to live 100 years old. I want to live 120 years old, but is not about how long you live, is the quality the life you live.
That's the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah, because
the whole point of this podcast is quality of life.
Yeah, because it's two things to have. It's longevity, it's lifespan, like how long you live chronologically, and it's health span. And ideally, you want to have the lifespan the same as your health span, you know?
Yeah.
You want to go to bed when you die. So my goal is to live until I die. And the last day of my life, I seeing like going for a hike in the mountains at 120 years old, coming back, having a nice dinner, a nice glass of wine, making love with my wife or whatever, and going to bed and not wake up the next day.
Opposed to waiting 10, 15 years on your deathbed as your body deteriorates and you hate life.
Yes.
That's not living.
That's not living.
Yeah,
and
I'm on the same page as you.
I see my grandparents struggling for the last 10, 15 years of their life.
Most people do, right? And it's getting worse.
And most of the people, they don't want to live long because their health for the last 10, 15 years, it's so bad that they feeling so bad, they don't want to live anymore. They want to die, you know?
Why would you, right? You're in pain. You're just surviving. You're not living anymore.
Yeah.
My grandma died from Alzheimer's. She just deteriorated. I saw that.
Yeah.
My grandfather died from cancer. I saw him deteriorate. It's awful.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't want to go through that. And I'm sure you've seen things too.
Yeah, my grandfather, it's 89 years old right now, and he has Alzheimer's as well. He's on dialysis for like kidneys for like 15 years.
Which is like a couple times a week.
3 times a week.
Yeah,
And
it's expensive. It's like 3-4 hour sessions at a time.
And not just that, you have a very bad quality of life, but all the people around you suffer because you suffer, you know? My grandmother suffer, my mother suffer, everybody suffer because need to help him stay alive, you know, go to bathroom, go, like, I don't want that for my kids and my grandchildren. I want to play with them when I'm 19 years old. I want to play with them. I want to enjoy like trips with them. I don't want them to take care of me, you know?
You start a baby and then you finish as a baby, right? Where you're dependent on everybody around you.
Yes.
And that's awful.
It is.
Yeah, it's demoralizing.
Yeah, that's scary, and I don't want that to happen to me. And that's why a few years ago, after I retired bodybuilding, and after I abused my body with steroids, growth hormones, everything, like if there was something that you can take to increase your muscle mass and get leaner and win the show, I was taking it, you know? So I
love the honesty. I think the honesty is important to get across. Because I've had other people share that same thing. I like the fact that you said that you would take everything and anything, whatever it took. Because most people are like that right now. And most young guys are like that more than ever. Early 20s, and they're doing the same thing, right? Yeah. And there's a lot that you can do without having to do that.
Yes, actually it is. I just find out, like, I was following the advice, like, the more you take, the more you do, the more you eat, the more you train,
the better it is,
better it is. But it's actually not,
less is more.
Because the body is super intelligent and recognize when you have a surplus and it's slowing down, you know? So right now I'm like the opposite of bodybuilding, you know? When I was bodybuilding, I was eating like 6, 7, 8 times a day from the moment I was waking up. So I wanted to be anabolic from the time I was going to sleep. Sometimes I was waking up in the middle of the night and I was having my protein shake. And
it's so stupid when you look back, right?
It is.
Now I'm sure you fast, right?
Right now I'm fasting a lot. I'm eating just 2 meals a day.
I eat once or twice a day, and you do the same thing. I used to eat 6 to 8, 12 meals a day, and now I eat 1 to 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
Does it make any difference?
It's not.
It doesn't. You don't lose muscle. You don't feel worse.
When I was eating like 6, 7 times a day, I was always bloated.
Yeah.
My face was always puffy.
You're focused too, right? You're a little bit foggy. You're not sharp like you are when you fast.
I was foggy. I was like having hard time getting out of the bed because I was tired all the time from all the eating. I was not getting good sleep because I was eating all until like I was going to
You're
bed.
eating before bed, which you're not supposed to do, right?
I was like overweight and I was snoring. I was mouth breathing.
Yeah.
I was not getting enough oxygen to my brain. So I was always tired. I was foggy. I had no energy. Right now it's opposite. I wake up, I'm not eating for 4 or 5 hours. I'm eating in a 6 to 8 hours window. I'm eating 2 meals a day. I'm eating a lot less, like half that I was eating, and I have like triple the energy. So I have the most energy that I had in my life. I had the energy like when I was like 10 years old, 12 years old, you know, when you want to run around all the time.
This is fascinating because I live and breathe this stuff. I love this stuff. So it's so nice to hear someone else talking the same talk. I ate 75% less than I ever have in my entire life. I still weigh 220 pounds. I'm not any weaker. I'm not losing muscle. I just feel better. I function better. And my life isn't dictated by my next meal, which our entire life were like that, right? You would live to eat. And now I live and I eat when I want to. Yes. I'm free and you're free.
Yeah,
that's the best feeling, right?
It's amazing. The most amazing feeling is to have like the energy, like when you wake up, you jump from the bed and you are like so full of energy without any coffee or anything.
No bloating.
No bloating, and you feel amazing, like clear, and you have clarity. That energy like through whole day.
It actually gets better the longer you fast. Have you noticed that? Like when you're 18, 20 hours into a fast, you start to get sharper because that's your body like telling you that you need to eat, and it gives you something that makes you sharper where you're able to go out and hunt.
It's the ketones. So your body starts using ketones instead of glucose. So that's why you are sharper and you feel better. But I'm so adapted to ketones and I force my body to use as much ketones as possible that I don't see a much difference when I'm fasting or I'm not, because I'm always eating a low carb diet. I'm always doing like intermittent fasting. Actually, it's like time restricted fasting. And I'm also incorporating circadian eating. So it's very important, the part of the day that you eat as well. A lot of people right now talking about intermittent fasting and they skip like breakfast and lunch and eat like just dinner or late at night. But I don't feel that's the best way to eat, because light, it's one of the most important things that signal your body and your hormones. Like first in the morning, you have the cortisol up, you have more insulin sensitivity compared with the night when the light's supposed to be like, you have supposed to stay to get darker and get less light in your eyes, and your body go in like rest and digest, and you get more insulin resistance. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to eat in the first day, part of the day.
When's your first meal?
My first meal, it's around 10 a.m. in the morning. So I wake up around 5 in the morning, 5 and 6, and I'm eating around 10, my first meal. So I have a good portion of the morning where I'm not eating.
So you break your fast at 10.
Yes, and I have my second meal no later than like 4 p.m.
Gotcha.
That's my last meal.
And then you fast right through.
And I fast.
That's cool. That's convenient. That's nice. I like that.
I never feel hungry. The good thing, I like.
It's kind of crazy, right? Because when you're a bodybuilder, all you did was feel hungry.
Because we are eating so much and we are eating so much carbohydrates that we are spiking the insulin so much. So we are like a roller coaster. like
Plus-
you spike the insulin, then you drop below the baseline, you get hungry. Then you spike again the insulin with carbs, and then you go below. So you always feel hungry when you eat carbs and you eat often, you
There's
know?
an addiction to food there too, right?
Yes.
I would say 99% of people are addicted to food. And
The-
fasting will help you break that addiction and help you become free. And have you done prolonged fasting? A couple of days?
I did 3 days fasting, and actually
And
in the
it's
third,
good, right? It's good to get you away from food and realize that you're okay without food. Because there's a misconception that if you don't eat, you're going to die. And if you don't eat, you're starving. And people forget that we used to hunt and gather, and that's how we survive. We hold body fat for a reason. So when we can't find food, or it's winter, or we're unable to get to food, we're okay. You and I can live for 2 months without food, even at our size. We have enough fat on us for 2 months worth of energy. People forget that because of marketing.
exactly. So we live in a very, very, very sad world right now that's controlled by food and drug industry.
It's marketing, right? It's brainwashing.
And everybody, it's like brainwash, and it's so sad. Like even seeing my parents, like researching this very, very deep, you realize, you awaken and you realize like everything, it's about marketing and selling.
Money, yeah. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Exactly.
Biggest BS out there, right?
You need to eat cereals in the morning to have energy and all that bullshit. Eggs will kill you. And stuff.
Eggs are bad for you, but Fruit Loops is great for you.
Yeah. Actually, cereals are like on the best 5 foods for Americans that they can eat.
Cheerios is on there?
Yeah, something like
Honey
that.
Cheerios.
Yeah.
Is above, I think it's above eggs or something.
Yes.
It was on Joe Rogan's, it's crazy.
Yeah. So we, like a gram of fat have 9 calories, right? A gram of carbohydrates have only 4 grams. We can store only 200 grams to 300 grams if we have more muscle of glycogen in the muscle. So 200 times 4, we don't have a lot of energy that we can store as carbohydrates. So we need to eat a lot of carbohydrates and constantly. But people don't realize that we can use fats as fuel as well. And we have a huge resource of storage fat that, like you said, that can last us to not eat. Are people that didn't eat for a year. Like fat people.
Fat people,
yeah. They didn't eat for a year and they still alive, you know, because even me that I don't have a lot of body fat, I still have like 19 pounds of fat.
You still got a month or two's worth of restores, and you're lean.
Yeah, I'm lean, and I still have like 2 months of like fuel of my body. But the problem with the society that we have right now they are not metabolically flexible. They cannot use fat as fuel because they always eat carbs and they don't have any window
They're
of
in a
fasting.
surplus, right?
Yeah.
They're constantly adding, they're constantly like storing.
Yeah, so body will be like, I always have carbs, I don't need to eat use my fat as fuel. I'm always eating carbs, I don't need to use fat.
And that's where insulin resistance comes in, and that's why everyone's a diabetic.
Exactly.
It's crazy. I had a friend, he dropped 280 pounds, and he was doing 12 to 14 day fasts without eating because he had so much fat on him. He had so much energy. He was able to go 12 days, no problem, without food.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what you're saying. If you got fuel, you don't need to eat. That's the whole point of it. A bear goes in a cave and doesn't eat for 6 months because it uses fat for energy.
Exactly.
Animals do it all the time.
Yeah.
But for some reason...
We used to do it all the time.
We used to
like...
Until marketing came along.
Yeah, until like agriculture come along like few hundred years ago. And then like the last 100 years, we start like marketing and...
Henry Ford, the 8-hour working day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner because of the work day.
Yeah.
No other reason, right?
Yes.
That's where it came from.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that's what we're supposed to do. Somebody just thought it was a bright idea and eat breakfast before you go to work, have lunch for an hour break, and then eat afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we just get caught up into that, and we're born into that, and we think that's normal.
Yeah, but the thing that people need to realize is that they need to figure out why they need to change their lifestyle. And like we talked before, I need to tell my why. Maybe other people will find their why to be healthy and change their lifestyle. So I want to be healthy right now, to live a long, healthy, and fulfilling life for myself. I want to create something amazing in life and change even a little bit the world, leave it a little better place than I left it. Also, I want to inspire my children to live a healthy and happy life.
100%.
You know, because
how old are your children?
I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
And
you want to lead by example for those
I want
kids.
to live by example. That's the best way.
I'm a huge believer about that.
Yes.
Yeah, if you will not find a overweight child without an overweight parent. And the healthier the parent, the healthier the child. Because the kids watch, a 6-year-old watches everything you do.
Exactly.
They see the decisions you make. They see why you make those decisions. You are the biggest influence on your child.
Exactly.
And that's so important. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, you need to do it for yourself, to feel good, to feel better, because when you feel good, feel better, you feel clear, you can give them a good example. Second, like I told you, I want to live a long and happy life, and I don't want to, like, later in life be a burden for my family. I want my family to look up to me and remember me for who I am, not like the last 10 years of my life to be a burden for them. And I want to leave a legacy, behind.
You know, 1 out of 3 kids by the age of 20 are going to have diabetes. And then this is the first generation where our kids aren't going to outlive the parents. So the same, because of the diet, because of technology, kids are actually going to die. Like not your children, not my children, but other people's children the same age are going to die before we die. That's crazy.
It's so sad when you see the marketing targeting like children. That's one of the reasons that I don't have cable TV in my house, because every time I go travel and I have TV in my hotel room and I put my children to watch cartoons, he watch just a very like an hour a day. We have a very strict window that he can watch cartoons a day. But when he watch on TV, all the marketing and all the sugary foods and all the stuff come up, and I don't want that my children to see that, because I don't want them to think that's something good, and my children are eating like super healthy. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then they're probably well behaved, and they probably have sustained energy.
Yes.
And they're not ADHD. All these things that we think are normal now are all diet related.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you can talk on the top 3 killers in this country are all diet related: heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. All diet related.
They are all related to refined carbs and sugar. And so sad, man, because people don't even realize, or they don't want to realize how bad it is, because they are addicted. Tell to a drug addicted, drugs are not good for you. What they'll tell you, like, leave me the heck alone. If you tell somebody like sugar are not good for you, like, or sugar are not good for your children, they will give you a bad look,
Yeah, or they'll justify it. Sugar is the biggest drug and the biggest addiction in this country.
It's the worst, and actually it's the worst drug because it's so wide available.
It's very hard to avoid.
It's very hard to avoid,
isn't it? You literally, like, you think it's good and you literally have to dig deep and, oh, this has got sugar. And not just a little bit of sugar, significant amount of sugar. It's really crazy.
People don't realize that flour, it's sugar as well. It acts like same like a sugar. Eat a bagel or drink a can of Coke and measure your insulin spike.
It's doing the same.
It's doing the same thing.
It's refined.
So people are like, I'm eating a bagel for breakfast. I'm not eating any sugar. I don't put sugar on my coffee. But eating a bagel, it's already 50 grams of sugar, you know? And it's so bad, you know?
That's crazy, isn't it?
I went to IV clinic and I did some ozone therapy, and there has like, for diabetic people, they have like different treatments. And the nurse was asking, what did you had for breakfast? And I was like, oh, I had a Pop-Tart and I had some sugar-free Coke or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, people are so misinformed.
Yeah.
Even on hospitals.
Oh, hospitals are the worst.
Like, you go on a hospital and there are diabetic people that get insulin, and what do you think they give them to eat? Like, they give them to eat like orange juice, bagels, sandwiches, like the worst food ever. It's like they want to kill those people or they want to keep them sick. Like in purpose.
Then there's a McDonald's in the hospital,
yeah,
which the nurses and doctors are also eating.
Yes.
So I had a guest on this seat, and he talked about his dad was a diabetic, and he was in hospital, and he had part of his leg removed. And during that process, he was fed Honey Nut Cheerios, orange juice, and a couple of whatever you got for breakfast. It all had sugar in it.
Yes.
And he was a diabetic in hospital who just lost part of his leg.
Yes.
That's crazy, right?
It is. And the dietitians on the hospital, that's what they recommend.
It's like false. Nobody knows what they're talking about, right?
No, they don't know what they're talking about. It's false information, old information from 20 years ago, when they believe that fats are the enemy and carbs are good, you know? So they are still on that mentality. But in the last 10-15 years, a lot of research showed that low carb diets, ketogenic diets can reverse diabetes without any drug.
Fasting by itself can reverse diabetes.
Yeah, but where the money to be made if everybody will start eating like a ketogenic diet and they will not use insulin, you know?
Yeah, or everybody starts eating less because they're fasting. There's no money in fasting. Fasting isn't cool.
Yeah.
Fasting doesn't make money.
Yes,
it works. The few people like you and I know about it, but everybody else is just caught up in it.
Yes, exactly.
What else? Cold therapy. You into cold therapy?
I do.
Let's talk about that. I love the cold. What are you doing?
So at the moment, I'm just doing cold showers.
Yeah.
And I like to do my cold showers away from training because are a lot of research that show that they impart the recovery. So
don't do cold therapy after lifting weights.
After lifting weights, yes.
That's Andrew Huberman. He's talking 5-6 hours. Make sure you keep that inflammation in your body.
Yes.
But first thing in the morning, before bed, things like that are fine.
Yes, yes. So at the moment, I'm doing just cold showers, which are very, very uncomfortable for me because I hate cold water. Like, I was the type of person that I was not going in the pool when it was like 120 degrees outside.
Really?
Because it was cold.
You're from Romania though. That's a cold place.
I know.
Maybe that's why you hate it so much. Now you're in the Vegas desert. You're like, I like this heat.
Yeah, especially in summer, yeah. But I'm doing a lot more sauna right now, and I'm doing a lot contrast therapy. Okay. So I'm doing sauna, and right after I get out of sauna, I'm going into the cold shower, and I'm doing contrast therapy.
You're always finishing cold though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You always start cold too?
No, I'm doing direct sauna, and then I finish.
Try starting cold because that's the hardest.
Oh yeah.
It's making yourself do something hard first, even just for the mindset, And then making sure you always finish cold.
Yeah. I'm doing sauna and then I'm doing the cold shower.
Yeah.
There are a lot of benefits, but again, there are some nuances that people don't talk about regarding the cold therapy. Like, more is not better always, you know, because any kind of cold therapy or sauna, training, intermittent fasting, all of those are hormesis, are stresses on the body.
You're the first person I've actually heard use the word hormesis.
Yeah.
A, you know what it is, and B, you know what it means. That's amazing.
Yeah, hormesis, it's
You're speaking my language now.
It's a purposely stress on the body.
Controlled stress,
Controlled stress to make it stronger. You know, what not kill you, make you stronger. You work out in the gym, it's a hormetic stress. You break down your muscle and you build stronger muscle, you know, to adapt to the training. So you can lift more, run faster, you know. Same with hot and cold, you know, it's a
Fasting,
hormetic
exercise, hot, cold, all forms of hormesis. Yeah.
So more is not better because it's the same like with the training. You can easily overtrain. The same with the cold therapy. You can easily do too much of it.
Let's talk the cold. So for what I know about the cold, 3 to 5 minutes, you're good. Anything past that, it's more mental, it's for more mindset.
Yes.
As far as the health benefits, 3 to 5 minutes. What do you what's your recommendation?
From the last study that I researched, it's about 11 minutes a week.
And that's going back to Andrew Huberman and who's the lady?
It's a lady from Sweden.
Yeah, can you remember her name?
I'm very bad with names.
There's a 2-hour podcast. Have you seen that one with her talking about all this?
I didn't see the podcast.
It's really good. It's 2 hours of her. She goes into detail about all this.
So 11 minutes of cold therapy through the week, it's enough. So my goal is like in a whole week to do 11 minutes under the cold shower. That's
so you're talking like 2.5, 3 minutes segments, couple times a week.
Yes.
11 minutes in total.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the sauna was 30 minutes a week or something? Or
the sauna, it's between 20 and 40 minutes, 4 to 6 times a week. But in the sauna, in the studies with sauna show that the more sauna you do, I'm sure that it's a point where there are diminishing returns.
Yeah.
But it show like 2 times a week reduce all-cause mortality like by 20%, 4 times a week reduce by 40%, 6 times a week reduce all-cause mortality by 60%.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Just getting in the sauna.
Yes.
Not running up hills, just sitting in the sauna. It's pretty incredible.
Sauna, it's kind of like help a lot with staying in shape as well, because it's kind of like a form of cardiovascular. Your heart rate start beating faster because the heat, and you sweat, so it's similar to cardio. So if you do sauna like 6 times a week, 20 minutes, you did already a lot of cardio without doing any cardio.
Yeah.
With the other benefits like detoxification through the sweating,
the detox,
heat shock protein increase.
I find my recovery, if I'm very sore from lifting, just going to the sauna once a week. I do cold therapy every day for 3 to 5 minutes, but the sauna I just do once a week for 25 minutes. And that's just my balance. Doesn't make it right or wrong or perfect. It's just what I personally like.
Yes.
But I find if I'm very sore and I get in the sauna, after 20 minutes, I feel good again. I'm loose, I'm limber, the lactic acid's gone.
Yeah, because it's like relax your muscle.
It relaxes you.
And even help you sleep better at night. Like I like to do some sauna later in the afternoon, and it showed that it increased the melatonin production and help you sleep longer and deeper. So I'm sleeping a lot better when I do sauna late in the afternoon.
Gotcha. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's talk breathing. So there, I'm learning more about this. So most of us don't breathe through our noses. We breathe through our mouth and we breathe very shallow. And you think of sleep apnea, you sleep with people who snore, are all mouth breathers. And for me personally, the cold plunges, the ice baths, dramatically increase my ability to breathe through my nose. And now I find I keep my mouth shut all day long. Besides when I'm talking, I'm able to breathe through my nose, and now I consciously breathe through my nose. And I know you're getting to the same thing.
Okay, so I've been a mouth breather most of my life.
You just think it's normal, right? When along the line did we forget to breathe properly?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Nobody teach me how to breathe properly, and I've been breathing through my mouth my whole life, and that did a lot of damage to my teeth. Like when you breathe through your mouth, you don't use your mouth correctly, and you can mess up your teeth. Like I have crooked teeth because I was breathing through my mouth and not through my nose.
Which is crazy, right? And there's a book called Breath, and it talks about it can change the structure of your face.
Exactly.
You can be a good-looking person, and your face will actually change in a bad way from your breathing incorrectly.
And that's very important for children, especially
children.
And right now I'm got for my son. He start breathing a little bit through the mouth, and he's not like. The most important thing about breathing through the nose is that you get more oxygen to the brain, you sleep better, you get more deep sleep.
You train better too.
That help recover your brain and drain your brain from all the bad stuff that accumulate through the day, and that can make you recover faster, be smarter, look better because the face change.
And train harder too.
Train harder, and yeah, it's super important.
And recover quicker.
Yes.
You recover a lot quicker if you can consciously shut that mouth and use that nose. It's dramatically different. I do Muay Thai a couple times a week, and when I'm getting my butt kicked, I really focus on keeping that mouth shut, using this nose, and your recovery is dramatically better.
The most important thing that I've done to start breathing through my nose is mouth taping at night. So a year ago I started taping my mouth because I was sleeping with my mouth open because that's how I was breathing, and I was always feeling tired because I was not breathing correctly. My brain was not getting enough oxygen through the night. My oxygen level was dipping low because when you breathe through the nose, you get more oxygen to the brain. And right when I start taping my mouth, I saw a huge increase in the energy the next day. So I'm taping my mouth for the last year, and I saw a lot of improvements on my health.
Are you sleeping better too?
I'm sleeping a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot more deep sleep than I used to. I feel a lot better. Like I said, when I wake up at 5 in the morning, I was using I don't want to get out of the bed. Right now, I want to jump from the bed.
That's amazing.
How much energy I have,
Have you done many ice baths or cold plunges?
I did not a lot of them, but I did some, yeah.
I like to see you get into those because that made a huge difference with my breathing. So if you're already taping your mouth, you're doing the nose stuff, I like to see you do that because I want to see how much that helps you, because that helped me a lot.
I did with Damon. You know Damon. It's a very good person to reach here in Vegas that help a lot of people, and I did a lot of breath work with him.
Plus the breath work helps on top of that, right?
Yes. And
it wasn't until I started doing them daily that I was like, dramatically made a difference with my nose breathing. Well, I don't do the mouth tape because the cold plunge really just changed my way of breathing.
And also, those strips that you put on your nose that open your nose.
Those things are great.
And I always use those on night. I put that tape on my nose, open my nose, and tape my mouth. and that made the huge improvement on my sleep quality, you know, and the way I feel through the day.
That's
and
awesome.
the energy and everything. Yeah.
You seen Alex Amosi?
Yes.
Yeah,
I follow him.
he literally like he lives on that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he just rocks it.
Sometimes I'm using during the day too. Like when I train, they have the clear ones, you know, that you can wear during the day.
He just puts it on and lives his life. It's great.
Yes.
I love how he just doesn't care.
No, yeah. I'm at the point in my life that I don't care about how people perceive me.
No.
It's just all about how I feel about myself and how I feel inside myself.
That's awesome.
You know.
So we've touched on fasting, exercise. Obviously, like you exercise. You've exercised your whole life. How has your exercising changed?
So I've been training when I was bodybuilding like 5 to 6 to even 7 times a day.
Just hitting the weights.
I was at hitting the weights every day for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I was always sore. I was always like achy, tired, you know, I was overtraining obviously, but I was training 6-7 times a day. I was taking a lot of supplements, I had a lot of protein, a lot of steroids, growth hormones, insulin, whatever. I told you that helped with recovery as well. Right now, I'm totally natural.
So you don't take anything anymore?
I even give up the TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, because for 15 years I took on and off steroids. My body forgot to produce testosterone. So when I stop after I reach my goal to become a professional bodybuilder, my testosterone dipped to like 30, 35. And the limit is between 250 and 1,100. So super low. Like
you took 30 a week or 30 milligram per day?
No, my total testosterone dipped down to 35, which is like a little girl testosterone. Yeah. And I was feeling so bad. So I had to continue testosterone replacement therapy, which you take a small amount of testosterone to keep your testosterone in the normal range, you know. But with everything that I started doing in the last 2 years, and I've done a lot of things, like I was not aware about the vitamin D deficiency, and I was always low on vitamin D, that I play a huge role on my testosterone and so on. But the last 2 years, or the last year, I give up the TRT, and my testosterone constantly increase, and I'm right now at 650 and still going up.
Naturally.
That's
awesome.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I feel strong. I'm eating just 2 meals a day. I'm training only, like, it's like people don't believe me, but I'm maintaining this body like the way I'm right now, in this muscle, with only 3 workouts a week.
I got a friend who does
20 minutes. That's it.
I got a friend who trains 3 times a week for 30 minutes, and he's a competitive bodybuilder.
Yes.
So it can be done. You're doing it, he's doing it.
Yeah.
So that goes back to more isn't better.
No, it's not.
Quality over quantity, I'm sure, is probably more important.
Yes. Yes. So when I'm training, the 20 minutes that I'm doing is like non-stop. For example, I do chest and back. I'm going and I'm doing chest, and I run and do pull-ups. Chest pull-ups, chest pull-ups.
Supersetting but you're not taking a break in between.
No, I'm not taking any kind of breaks. That's helped me like increase my VO2 max as well, my aerobic.
Plus your calories are right up there. Your heart rate's right up there. It's like
a high intensity workout non-stop for 20 minutes.
What from 1 to 10, what level extreme are you training at, would you say? Would you at 7 or 8, or?
I'm training at 10.
So you're lifting as heavy
as I can, as hard as I can, but a very, very short period of time.
Back and forth. That's interesting. I want to try that.
Sometimes I'm not even going for 20 minutes. Like I'm done in 15 minutes. I don't enjoy gym anymore after 15 years being in the gym like every day for
an hour. Boring, right?
I don't want to be in gym anymore. I want to be more outside. I want to hike.
But you still understand. You still understand how important it is to lift weights.
It's very important.
So you're making sure it's a priority, but you're finding a way to do it that works for you.
Yes.
Because yeah, you're right. I've been going to the gym for 25 years, 5 days a week for 25 years. It starts to kind of get boring.
Yes.
Yeah, I find myself lately like, hey, I'd rather be out hiking or kickboxing or doing something different.
Yeah.
But I understand how important it is to hit the weights and to keep that muscle and to keep that strength, especially when you've always had it your whole life.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do is not be able to just rip a jar open or...
No,
so I get it.
At the moment I'm in my life right now with everything that I'm doing, fasting, training fasted. So I'm training fast. I train at 6 a.m. in the morning, not eating anything from last night, like at 4 p.m. I'm training fasted. I'm training only 15 minutes for 3 times a week, 45 to 16 minutes a week of training. I'm doing a lot of activity. I'm walking in nature. I like hiking. I'm liking to push my body. I'm swimming. I'm rock climbing. I'm doing something that I enjoy instead of being in the gym, you know.
Talk to me about that. Why it's so important to do something you enjoy. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym, right? I feel like a lot of people don't like going to the gym, therefore they don't do anything. But if you love hiking, go hiking. You like playing tennis, go play tennis. But move.
Move, exactly.
Move.
We are created to move, like evolutionary talking, like 1,000 years ago, we had to move to go hunt, you know. So that's in our DNA to move.
And if you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly. When you don't use your muscle, you lose your muscle, you know, everything
just like your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that you don't necessarily have to go to the gym. If you want to go to the gym or you find a way to go to the gym with like as quick as possible, do that. But if you love doing yoga, go do yoga. Whatever makes you happy.
I'm getting into a lot of new stuff right now. Like
I love that.
Rock climbing.
Yeah.
Swimming. I'm doing cycling. I'm like, nice. I get my bike, mountain biking.
A bodybuilder into
hiking. And I love being in nature. So I don't want to be in a gym under artificial light with a lot of people around me
who don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Whereas hiking's social and it's fun and it's nature.
Yes.
How much you weigh now opposed to what you were as a bodybuilder?
So when I got my pro card, I was 185 pounds.
How tall are you?
Super shredded. 5'8" and a half. 5'8" and a half, yeah. So I was at 185 with 5% body fat. Right now I'm 178.
Oh wow.
With 11% body fat.
So you dropped 7 pounds and
I dropped 7 pounds.
And 11% still very lean. 11% is like literally perfect, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like 11% is the sweet spot.
It is, because you don't want to be super low fat because you disrupt your hormones when you are super low fat, body fat, but you don't want more fat either because fat, it's inflammatory, highly inflammatory. So I still see my abs very, very well. I'm very, like when I look in the mirror, I'm super happy where I am. I'm feeling great.
You feel good on top of it too.
I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling amazing.
Which is the most important thing.
That's the most important.
Because how many big bodybuilders look good, but they can't do anything. They can't run across the street. They can't touch the toes.
Man, I had periods in my life when I was chasing bodybuilding and I was doing 3 hours of cardio a day and 1 hour and a half of training. So I was,
and eating all day.
So I was doing 1 hour of cardio in the morning, fasted. I was doing 1 hour of cardio post-workout after 1 hour of weights, and I was doing 1 hour of cardio at night. I was feeling like shit.
Were you working as well? And
I was having like online clients, but I didn't feel like doing anything. I was staying in the bed and I was like waiting to
go do more cardio.
Waiting to die, like kind of like I was like not waiting just the time to pass, and I was feeling miserable. like that was before contest. And in off season, I was like force feeding all day long. I was hating food because I didn't want to eat, but I had to eat. Like I didn't go to bed until I was not finish my last meal. And my last meal is like, I was like feeling like throwing up.
That's so interesting.
And my life was like so miserable, and I didn't have energy. I was foggy. I was like, my face was like this. I was like 245 pounds, like sluggish. But like I said, I did whatever it took to reach my goal. But right now, at the point where I am right now in my life, I'm so happy with the way I look. Like when I look in the mirror, I'm super happy with the way I look. And actually, I'm getting biologically younger because we have like biological age and chronological age. And you can measure the biological age, the rate that your body ages biologically, and you had your chronological age. And I measure my biological age, and in the last year I got my 2 years back of my biological age.
Gotcha.
2 years younger, back here.
So how old are you again?
I'm 36.
So you're 36, but it's measuring at 34, correct?
No, when I measured for the first time my biological age, I was 35, and I was measured at 38. My biological.
Gotcha.
So I was 3 years older than my age from all the abuse that I did on my body. And right now I'm 36, so advanced 1 year from last year, and my biological age is 36. So I'm
so you're equal.
Equal.
Okay.
But so I'm reversed like 3 years.
That's awesome.
If you put like the year that it passed chronologically with 2 years backwards, I get 3 years younger from last year biologically. And I'm planning to go to 25 in the next few years.
Really? That's awesome. I know you're a big fan of Dave Sinclair, correct?
I'm a big fan of Dave Sinclair and a lot of other people that I'm following. But
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So let's talk. I love how you actually. How are you measuring your biological age?
The biological age is measured through DNA methylation process.
Is there a website? Are you seeing a doctor? How do you go about it?
If you Google biological age test, you will find a few different tests.
Do you have one you recommend?
Not necessarily. Like there are few companies that use the same thing to measure the biological age. It's a DNA methylation process that measures the speed of your biology that your body age.
Okay.
So that's the test that I'm using to see how I'm doing with everything that I'm doing. And getting 3 years younger in last year show me that I'm in the right path and I'm doing the right things.
Just keep continuing. How much does the test cost you?
It's kind of expensive. It's $500.
$500, okay.
But measure different things like DNA methylation and few other processes in the body that show the rate of aging of your body.
So I mean, $500 once a year or something isn't too bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important the more you understand your health. I mean, I have the Aura Ring, I use the iWatch. Yeah, I think the more you're tracking this stuff, the less likely you are to get sick, or the more likely you are to predict something before it happens.
Yes.
My body temperature went up, and it went up again.
Like you get sick, right?
And guess what? The next day I was in hospital with an infection.
Oh, wow.
It told me before my body told me.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, that doesn't look right. Well, that definitely doesn't look right. The next day I'm in hospital.
Yeah. The most important thing people don't know about this Aura Ring, it's a $300 ring that measure especially your sleep. And the most important information that I get from this is how good I slept the night before. So using supplements to improve my sleep, it showed me like what kind of supplements help me get more restful sleep, and what disrupt my sleep. Because We talk about all kinds of fancy things like cold plunge, sauna, workout, but sleep actually is the most important thing that you can do for your health. That's
Repeat that for me.
So sleep, it's the most overlooked aspect of health that people are not thinking about.
But it's the most important thing.
It's the most important thing.
All those things you touched on earlier.
Yes.
And sleep isn't cool.
It's not cool.
Cold plunges is kind of cool right now.
Yeah.
But sleep isn't cool. But sleep is everything. And it's not cool to have 4 hours sleep and hustle. What is cool to have, I average 8.5 hours a night because of my ring. That told me. Yeah. 8.5 hours of sleep a night. That's fantastic. I'm proud of that.
Like people that are hustling, they think they are hustling and they're getting 4 hours of sleep. Like they do a huge disadvantage to them, because getting deep sleep and restorative sleep will help you focus more. And 1 hour of deep focus work with your full mental capacity is like a 12-hour shift of work that you are like foggy and you don't know exactly what you are doing, you know?
Plus you're going to live longer having sleep.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And better too.
Yeah. As far as like supplements, you taking NR, NAD, like what supplements you taking?
So those are like kind of new supplements that are out there, but I feel like most of our audience need to focus on basic.
Yeah, true. So what is the basics you think you would suggest?
The basic, first you need to get your mineral right. So
let's talk about this.
First thing in the morning when I wake up, people think about hydration just like drinking water.
Yeah.
Like that how us teach with the bodybuilding and all the bodybuilding gurus. Drink 2 gallons of water a day. RO water, reverse osmosis water, that has 0 minerals in it. But people don't realize that hydration is minerals and water together. That's how you hydrate your cells, with minerals. So actually sodium pull water into the cells. Drinking more water will not help you hydrate you, will not hydrate you better, will actually dehydrate you, because you'll start flushing all your salts from your body.
Gotcha.
You know?
So you're putting Celtic in, you're putting Himalayan, what are you using?
I'm using a mix of Himalayan pink salt and Celtic salt, and I'm using a touch of potassium chlorate in my water right when I wake up.
I want to just touch on that. When you're talking potassium, very small amount, because it's actually dangerous to take too much.
You can have up to 600 milligrams a day, but I'm using just like a very, very tiny amount, like a
pinch?
Like 1/4 of teaspoon of potassium with a teaspoon of Celtic salt and Himalayan salt.
Okay.
In Pellegrino water that has minerals as well.
Okay.
And silica as well.
Gotcha.
I'm drinking a lot of Pellegrino water.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on the salt thing. There's a misconception that salt is bad for you. And salt is bad for you if you're using table salt, if you're using like that highly processed white salt.
Yes.
But when you're talking Celtic sea salt, pink Himalayan salt is one of the best things, if not the best thing you could take for your body.
Yeah.
I would argue it's probably the number one thing combined with water that you should be taking.
Exactly.
Would you agree with that?
That's why I said people should focus on like the basic, like people are so unaware of like how important the minerals are on the body, because those minerals create like hundreds of processes and catalyzing things in the body, creating all kinds of biochemistry in the body. If you don't have those minerals, your body cannot function optimally, you know? So before anything, changing your diet or anything, you need to get your minerals right in your body. And it's very easy to get a tablespoon of Celtic salt, that is the most dense mineral salt in the market right now, or pink Himalayan salt and put in your water in the morning and hydrate your body and your cells. Every single cell in your body need to be hydrated to function optimally.
A lot of people are scared of salt, but like, listen to what you say. It's using the right salt and using the right amount. And don't just suddenly jump into a ton of salt, because it'll give you diarrhea. It can go straight through you. Start small, build up to what you're talking about.
Yes.
But it is game changing. It's one of the best things you can do. You go hiking, anything where you're drinking water, put a little bit of salt in your water. You're fasting, especially a prolonged fast. Salt is the number one thing that you should be adding to your fast.
Exactly, because you don't introduce minerals through the food into your body. So that's why you prolonged fasting without optimal like mineral content can be very dangerous, because your potassium can dip very low, or sodium can dip very low, and
it'll help you fast longer, won't it? And easier.
Yes.
You'll fast so much easier when you're having salts.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So the first thing, it's getting your mineral. You can get like a trace mineral supplement that you can put few drops in your water, and that will help you get more hydrated. Being more hydrated help you think clear.
Yeah.
Will clear your head, will make all your cells on your body more hydrated, will make you function better. And the second supplement that I recommend after minerals, it's vitamin D3 and K2. So
David talks about this a lot, doesn't he? David Sinclair talks about these two a lot.
Yes. So 60% of the population in US are low on vitamin D, and I was low on vitamin D as well. I was like in the 30s, 29, 30s my whole life, looking at my blood work past.
So why is vitamin D so important?
Vitamin D,
Or what, D3?
It's responsible for like 300 processes in our body. It's not a vitamin, it's actually a hormone.
Okay.
So it's a hormone. It's very important in bone density, immune function, hormone function. Like I give my increase in natural testosterone due to increasing my vitamin D.
Interesting.
Supplementation.
Just that alone. That's
so
interesting.
Just increasing your vitamin D3, which is super, super cheap. Like you can find vitamin D3 for like $6, $10.
Really cheap. Yeah, super cheap.
For like 2 months supply, like super cheap. And it's so important, can change your whole life. Like you age slower when you have your immune system, it's improved. Your inflammation, it's going down. So many things. But one little caveat to the vitamin D3 is that when you take vitamin D3, you need to take vitamin K2 as well.
Okay.
Because too much vitamin D3 can deposit calcium into arteries, which you don't want.
Okay.
So taking vitamin K2 with vitamin D3 will help deposit the calcium into the bones and increase your bone density, which is also very important with age.
Very important.
Especially for humans, like at menopause, it's super important to keep the bone density.
Because that's what osteoporosis is, isn't it? Is the bones getting brittle and breaking. So vitamin D3 with K2.
K2, yes.
Gotcha. And then Himalayan salt, Celtic salt being before that.
Yeah.
And they're, like you said, they're all very cheap.
Yeah, they're super cheap.
All those three are less than $20, I would say. Actually, it's going to last you a couple of months.
I got from Amazon a huge bag, 2 pounds of Celtic salt for $26. Perfect. That will last me like 6 months for 20.
I just ran out, so I need to buy some more. So
yeah, they have like huge bags,
that's
like 2 pounds bags for $26. That's super cheap on Amazon. Yeah, so you got like $26 split for 6 months. That's few dollars a month.
Lot of salt, yeah.
And then
you only need a little
you
bit.
fix your hydration and your mineral. That's super important. That's a huge step into the health. And then you fix your vitamin D3 with K2. And next will be like a good multivitamin.
Okay.
So zinc is super important, copper, vitamin E, vitamin A. You can get that from a good multivitamin.
Okay.
So if anybody that listens to this podcast will get those three things: salt, vitamin D3 and K2 and multivitamin, and then they will add omega-3 supplement like cod liver oil, they will be in a great shape already. They will start feeling amazing in like few weeks.
And that's without changing diet
Anything.
or fasting. That's just getting back to a base.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on green powder over a multivitamin? You know, you get those nice green powders you mix in your water.
Yes, that's hard for people sometimes to get those green powders because they are not tasting so good.
That's a good point. So you rather just pop a pill and get it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably a little bit, I feel like they're a bit more expensive too.
They are very expensive.
Yeah.
The good ones are very expensive, but they have a lot more benefits. They go beyond vitamins and minerals because they have like polyphenols from plants, like the plant's defense mechanism, like resveratrol, you know, it's a polyphenol. It's create the same like hormetic effect on the body, like sauna or cold or workout. It's a hormetic effect. It's the plants create all those polyphenols to fight against like animals or the sun, you know,
like
the
a defense thing,
like defense mechanism.
Yeah.
And you get those, you get like a small stress that will increase your own production of antioxidants into the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So kind of summarize so far, we're talking exercise, quality over quantity.
Yes.
And doing it consistently and doing something that you like.
Yes.
But if you can, incorporating weight training there, because weight training, there's so many benefits with longevity.
Yes.
Just touch on those benefits, because I know you're a good person to ask on those.
So after the age of 30, we experience sarcopenia, which is a loss of muscle mass.
Like
so like 2%, I believe it's the rate that we decrease after
consistently,
30.
right?
Consistently.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing my grandfather right now. His leg, it's like my wrist. He don't have any muscle anymore. He's almost 90 years old. And when I tell people that I want to live 120 years, they laugh at me because they think that is not possible. But if you go deep into the science and you do everything that I'm doing, you know that it's a very good possibility to live over 100 years old easy.
You're prepping your body.
Easy.
Actually, sorry, I can't tell you who it was, but I saw somebody talking about the most important thing for longevity was resistance training. And that was this guy's opinion, but he was saying it's right up there. It's very important that you need to have resistance training.
Muscle mass, it's like you said, it's up there into the longevity because the more muscle mass you have, muscles are sink for the glucose, you know. So when you eat, the glucose can go either to liver or into the muscle. If you eat too much, it go into it's transform it into the fat. So muscle mass, it's a glucose sink, which is very important because you don't get that. If you have more muscle mass, you don't get huge glucose spikes because the muscle suck up the glucose.
The muscle glycogen, yeah.
And the most important factor for longevity is keeping your glucose levels very, very stable and at a low level. Because the more glucose you have into your bloodstream, the more ages you have, advanced glycase end products. That's like when glucose bend with protein and form like kind of like a rust that age your body very fast. That's why low carb diet, keto diet, it's very good for longevity because and fasting as well. So fasting, working out, muscle mass, low carb diets, keto diets, they are all focused on one thing, keeping your glucose low and stable, because high glucose will increase the ages, like I said, and that will age you faster.
And then the muscle is giving you, if you have a fall, you're less likely to get hurt or break something. The more muscle you got, the higher your metabolic rate, the higher your metabolism, the less likely you are to store fat. And that's just the basic of it. And then we're talking fasting. David Sinclair and a couple guys, they're like, the less you eat, the longer you live. And that goes back to the glycogen spikes.
Yes.
And then you're talking about the sauna, cold therapy on a consistent basis. Not doing too much, but just doing it consistently and doing the minimum requirements.
Yes.
And then we touched on the salt, the vitamins, the good fats, the multivitamin. What else can you kind of touch on? I know we're starting to get more and more, but what's kind of next?
Next is like, I'm into longevity, but also I'm into like biohacking.
Okay.
Biohacking my environment. So I got very, very obsessed with biohacking and optimizing my environment. So light is as important as food and working out and being active. And most people those days are like going to work like before the sun rises up, so they don't get any sun, and they come back.
Vitamin D, right?
It's not only vitamin D. Like when you get sun through your eyes, it's send a signal to the brain to release cortisol in the morning, so your cortisol go up. At the night, if you stay and stare in a bright blue light, you inhibit your melatonin production, which melatonin is the most, and this is the strongest antioxidant in the body, even stronger than glutathione. So I start hacking my light. So first thing in the morning when I wake up, I'm going outside and trying to get sun into my eyes.
No phones.
No phones.
No phone.
So I'm trying to get sun.
Get from bed to outside.
I'm going directly to my balcony and I'm getting light into my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm sending a signal to my brain that it's morning. It's time to raise the cortisol. It start to lower the melatonin into the body. It start it's very fascinating. I read a book about circadian rhythm, and all the cells in the body has a circadian rhythm dictated by light. So we live in a society where we don't get enough light during the day, sunlight, and we get too much of the wrong light during the night, which is very, very bad. As junk food, like junk light from artificial light on the wrong times is as bad as junk food when you eat. So I have, like I said, I'm going outside, getting sun into my eyes when I wake up to send signal to my brain to release all the hormones and sync my body with the natural circadian rhythm. And when it starts getting dark, like I said, I stop eating in the afternoon because the digestion get drop in the afternoon. Your body is not digesting as good as in the morning because the sun as well. And the insulin sensitivity lower in the afternoon. So I'm not eating in the afternoon, but I also try to limit my artificial light intake. And there are few tricks that people can, very cheap as well, that can incorporate, like blue light blocking glasses that you can wear on the afternoon and block all the blue light, artificial light, because most of the light those days are LED light and focus on the blue light, which is the spectrum of the daylight. So you don't want blue light in the afternoon. You want to send a signal to the body that it's time to slow down and increase the melatonin production and get ready for sleep. So I'm wearing blue light blocking glasses. I also change my light into my house. I have a few different lights into the house that are red and they don't have any kind of blue.
Gotcha.
And I switch those on when in the afternoon instead of the bright white ones.
Nice.
So I'm not staying in a bright light in the afternoon. I'm wearing the blue light glasses. I'm not staying at TV at night. I'm actually don't watch any kind of TV because I'm not interested on TV.
Just going back to the morning, the last thing you want to do is is wake up and then look at your phone.
Yes.
Your phone can wait.
The phone can
And
wait, yeah.
I mean, that's something I do now. It's not something I've done forever. It's something I've incorporated, and it's a game changer. You don't wake up and feel good when you stare at your phone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. And I guarantee most people are doing that. Get up and get outside and get in the sun.
Yeah, get out.
Even if it's just on the balcony. All I do is go on my balcony too.
So I'm waking up, I jump from the bed. Sometimes is no light outside, but I'm waiting when the sun come up and go outside and get light. But when I wake up, I go outside usually if the sun is up. And like you said, I'm not looking at my phone because I don't want to think about my problems,
it can wait.
My past. I want to think about my future. So when I wake up, it's kind of like 15 minutes of meditation. I'm thinking what I want from my future, how I want my life to be in the future. And then I go into the most important task of the day, like what I have to do today, what are the most important things that I have to do in today to have the most productive day, because most people wake up and they just go on the phone and they don't have any idea about their day. They just go with the flow. And if you go with the flow, you'll go wherever the flow pushes, and usually the flow pushes in a wrong direction. So I force myself to create my future instead of let the past create my future. You know what I mean?
Before we finish up, I want to touch on environments. So you mentioned Damon. I mean, he's an amazing influence. Do you have good environment? Do you have good friends? Do you have good people around you that help you become more the person you want to be?
To be honest, when you start educating yourself and you start getting deep into like being conscious about everything around you, being conscious about your food, your water, your air, your mindset, your toxins, everything around you, your mindset, your friends, your family, and everything, you realize like everybody's in like autopilot, and you find yourself a little bit. At first, you start trying to tell everybody what they should do, and that's what I start doing. Like, you should do that because you care about the people around you. You should do that. Don't do that anymore. That's not good for you. That would hurt you, And when you are like that, people start like having like they're like addicts.
Yeah.
You're addicted. You for all your life you did that, and somebody come and tell you it's not good what you do. You're like, I don't want to hear that all the time, even if you want they're good, And I felt that the more I want the people around me, they're good, the more I push them away, And
you start to isolate yourself. You start to feel a little bit different.
You start feeling different and start feeling weird, but you know that people around you, you feel like not brainwashed. They are like, they are kind of like brainwashed by society, you know, by the consumer nation, you know, the Western mentality, the big pharma, the big agriculture, you know, they are brainwashed. And when you try to tell them something different and you have different ideas than them, you don't connect with them anymore, you know, and you start pushing away a lot of people, and you kind of start feeling lonely on your path, you know.
100%. I 100% relate.
So to be honest, right now I'm feeling kind of lonely on my way, but I'm trying to build a community. I'm trying to start a podcast and share my thoughts, and people that are open, like eventually everybody will start open up. When most of the people start open when they get in trouble, you know, when they get sick, or when something bad happen with their family or something, you know.
I was going to say, what I like to do is not, I've been the path where I've tried to help people. What I do now is I do me for me, and I lead by example. And then by leading by example, people all ask questions. And when they ask questions, I'll give them 110%. So if you're on the wrong path, I'm on the right path, and you ask me about cold therapy, I'll give you 110% and I'll help you. Or you want to know about fasting. But I like to more walk the walk than talk the talk.
Yeah.
Because people are going to watch. Oh, he's lost weight. He looks healthier. He's got so much more energy.
Yes.
That stands out.
Yes.
And then people are going to come to you and resonate with you. But also, I also have a community that I built that I'm going to incorporate you with. And there's a lot of like-minded people that you're going to connect very well with. So I'm definitely going to connect you with those people.